Hey guys, Megaton Menace here, back with another video. So I am once again joined by my friend Asir.
Hey guys.
And today we are going to be watching and reacting to RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 11. Now this is like a 20-minute episode, so more like 17, 18, after intros. And don't have too much to say before we go into this, but there is a couple things. So the first is that last week, for whatever reason, they didn't have subtitles available when we watched the episode, so we did miss some audio. However, we did rewatch and we caught what we missed. So, what Cinder and Neo are up to now when it comes to the trying to locate the maiden and going after the relic that Oscar has and waiting until those things are done before they try to end RWBY. Like, we got that now, which we missed before.
Right, we spent almost 10 minutes after the episode hypothesizing as to what Neo and Cinder were going to be going about, but unfortunately, because we were talking during the episode and without subtitles, we missed the fact that they told us.
Right.
Cinder is looking for the Winter Maiden still. They have not found her, but she is very confident that she will, and she is sending Neo to get the relic.
And yeah, and the relic that Oscar has, I'm pretty sure.
Correct. So that's a good clarification, not the Atlas relic, which is holding up the city. So That is a great clarification. But so they did tell us what they were planning, and we just missed it.
Right. Now, when it comes to this episode, I think it's pretty apparent that the fighting is going to be, we're going to see a lot of the fights. Now, like Ironwood fighting Watts, and of course, Crow, Hill, and Clover fighting Tyrion.
Nice.
Now, something else that I also totally slipped my mind initially was the fact that about halfway through this season, they reintroduced Team Funky, and we have not seen them since. However, because RWBY is intended to work as a season and as like a long movie, we're going to be seeing them again before the season ends, I think. It's just a question of when and how. And because they weren't fighting the Grimm when the Grimm fighting was happening, it makes me think maybe they will be Ironwood's backup if he has backup, or they could be on some shit where like maybe them and Winter are all guarding the Maiden.
Yeah, which that is something to talk about, is whether or not Iron has backup, which, as you said, is probably Team Funky, or it's Winter, and whether or not the Winter Maiden is being guarded. So those are like two huge questions that we have going into this episode.
Exactly, because like currently Team Funky and Winter are significant protagonist pieces that are on the board, but we don't know where they are or what they're doing.
Correct.
So, with all that being said, I think that I'm ready to basically just hit play and see how these fights play out, and if anything that's not fights happens, that's welcome too.
Yeah, I think that there's one more thing that I want to address, and I don't even think it's from last episode. I think it's from 2 episodes back.
In episode 9?
Yeah, it was a conversation that you and I had, but we haven't necessarily shared with the camera, and that was Whitley, and the fact that Weiss, so he idolizes Jock, and Weiss is now kind of the reason that Jock is imprisoned. And so whether or not Whitley will be redeemed or go fully antagonist is definitely something that they've set up. And I don't expect it to continue to develop, but it's something that we haven't necessarily mentioned yet that is definitely mention worthy.
That's very true, because both possibilities seem currently pretty equally valid.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's dive into it.
Let's do it. Yeah, this is the fight we wanted to see, so I'm glad they're starting here.
We want to see both of them, but this one's a little bit more hype.
A little bit.
A little bit. And
oh, nice. Well, it looks like Watts does have a 6-shooter specifically.
That's true.
Like, he does specifically, whereas Ironwood, he's got clips too.
Yeah.
Like the way that the gun loads, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also, there's no way that these guns are just guns.
Oh yeah, and they're both probably shooting dust and all sorts of stuff like that.
With Ironwood pointing at that wall, I think he's probably watched how to grab it.
That makes sense.
I would die
And see, he clearly can propel himself with the shot as well.
Yeah.
14.
This is interesting.
And the episode is called Gravity, so maybe they don't have gravity.
That makes sense. This is kind of interesting because this is, I feel like, the first firefight of the show as a whole. Like, we've seen tons of fights, but none that were like, it's kind of drifted into more of a brawl. But this is like a firefight. It's crazy.
Yes. I think that he's counting how many bullets Ironwood has left in his gun.
That would make sense. I mean, that is smart.
Especially considering that ammo is something that they usually have to pay much attention to.
10 to 7, how many shots did Ironwood fire? 3?
I think so.
Then that would be accurate.
But he also lost the gun that was being shot because he got knocked out of his hand. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Maybe he's counting. I don't know.
Nice.
Ooh.
Right
Nice.
Like, right now, the two of them are going to even, but I also feel like Watts has advanced into the arena, and the way Ironwood's fighting is basic enough that I don't believe that this is what it is. I don't think we're seeing Ironwood's peak yet.
Sure. Oh no, I think that they're definitely going to let this build up. But I love your point.
That'll
Watts has an advantage because of the arena. That is a great point.
I think that Ironwood might be attracting you for a reason.
True.
At least I would hope so.
You never appreciated my genius, James. You just stood atop it and called yourself a giant.
I wonder how true that is.
I gave you everything you could have wanted.
You chose
Interesting.
that fat imbecile over me.
Oh?
Is he talking about Pedro?
I don't know. I don't know if he's just being derogatory in general, or if he's literally like a rap faunus.
I suppose in this instance,
Being
my
referenced.
brains and your brawn are evenly matched.
Yeah.
You're smart, but you're not the only one who can count.
Oh, I know.
Yikes. He used the shield to pin him to the... Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
I guess that hand's... Yeah, that hand is definitely organic.
That was a little too close for my liking, James. Rebuilding those rings is going to be such a pain.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, if you'll excuse me.
Oh, it's the 4 rings.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. I mean, unless you're hoping to add more metal to that body of yours.
Yeah, he'll lose his flesh and bones on that.
All right, now, where did they put them?
Wow. Holy shit. What? You didn't think he'd do it. That's the fucking robot arm. The watch doesn't have aura either.
That's savage, Ironwood.
Show him mercy. You really shouldn't.
There's a lot of merit to that.
Sacrifice.
You need to get those
Whatever
rings
it
off of
takes
his fucking other hand
to
now.
stop her.
That's true.
Oh, I hope you do, James.
Yeah, that's a pretty genius weapon. It's so hard
I
to
hope
disarm
you
it.
do.
Oh boy.
Tyrion Kalos,
Yikes.
you're under arrest.
Yeah, we'll see how
And
that
he's like, I
develops.
want you to throw away everything you have on the side because I know you won't be able to. That way, yeah, that fight, even though it's short, that fight was a lot more brutal than I thought it was going to be.
That was fantastic.
Like, that's definitely a PG-13 fight.
No, and it was a good fight. Like, that's the best way. It's the same with this one. This is a huge step up animation style, and a lot of detail.
It's like, bro, it was a fair fight when it was just him thrown 3 balls ago. Like, what's he thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, sure maybe he's got something in his sleeve that we don't know about.
Well, I mean, the tail is new,
Yeah, that's true.
so he could definitely be packing something new in there.
She's like, how stupid do you think I am? Oh, shit. Don't underestimate him just because he's down, though.
Where's
Okay.
that smile now?
I really thought he was going to retreat once he got
This
fucked
is
up.
Clover.
Yeah.
Requesting prisoner transport.
Oh no.
We didn't see what he did with Watts.
We have Tyrion Kalos in custody.
What? Fuck.
Yeah, right? Like they didn't tell us what he did with Watts, and now something
don't
else
know
is
what
going
the
down.
fuck made him drop his shit.
Schnee,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
was anyone caught trying to enter the school grounds while I was away?
Oh boy.
No?
Are you sure?
Still
Shit.
afraid,
It
I
might just be
see.
Cinder or Neo.
Yeah,
Now
definitely.
show me where you've been hiding her.
Well, it wasn't Cinder who was at RWBY because we just saw her with the
Affirmative. I don't understand. Why would the general call us back without giving a reason?
Especially with evacuation still going on in Mantle.
You don't have
Perhaps.
to understand orders, kids. You just have to follow them.
Civvy transports won't be stopping anytime soon. The general says he needs us now. He needs us now.
Okay.
You all get to the general and find out what's happening. We'll bring
Yeah,
Oscar
what
and
the
see you
fuck's
soon.
happening?
You know, I know it really hurts to hear things like you don't need to understand orders, you just need to follow them, because you don't want to like
General
completely
Ironwood?
buy into that. But there's merit to that. If you trust your leader, that statement is true, because in
You've
any
made
military
a critical
tactician, if
error.
everyone knows everything, that's a liability.
The Black Queen was the symbol Salem showed us before we lost everything.
Yes.
Her way of telling us she was inside,
Yeah. Is that all it was?
that it was too late. We stopped Watts. We
But-
stopped Kalos, but someone was here. They put this in my office to tell me that it... What if Mantle was just a distraction?
Oh.
What if it was just to draw us away from the academy?
Chess pieces
Sir,
got him this
It's
freaked
going
out.
to be okay.
Yeah. And
We've got
obviously-
Mantle on our
obviously
side
it was
now,
Cinder
and
How do we know
Neo,
that wasn't
but
part
they
of
did
their
it 'cause they
plan?
knew how you'd react.
How do we know they didn't want us to bring people into Atlas by the thousands?
In trying to save everyone, we left ourselves most vulnerable.
Salem
What's
has
crazy
been
is
one
that's not
step
true. They're
ahead of
being
us
manipulated
this
with
entire
that's
time.
true.
Yeah.
Because Cinder and Neo are totally being rogue agents right now.
it's glass.
So she'll piece together that Cinder made it with resemblance.
Black glass.
Yeah.
This was Cinder.
Yeah.
She's alive? And she's here?
Interesting.
If Cinder's here, then for all we know, Hazel's here too.
Sir, this isn't over yet. We're with you.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you do with Watts? Can we
Are you
please
with me?
learn that?
They implied that he was locked up like Tyrion.
Sir?
How did Robin know about the
No.
Global Communications
Yeah.
Project?
We told her.
Time
The
to
night of
pull
the
out
ambush.
bug swatter.
You did what?
We
Yeah,
were
they're-
trying to help.
By
technically
going behind our
succeeded.
backs?
Wait.
Does that mean you let her escape?
Robin is on our side. She always has been.
We didn't know that for sure.
None of this matters right
That
now.
briefcase was
Loyalty
different.
always matters!
Okay, fine.
So Salem's just been listening?
Ironwood.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Fuck yeah. You like it. She's like, I got what I needed.
The brave
Maybe she can
huntsmen
teleport.
and
Or maybe
huntresses
she's the-
bested Arthur
Yeah.
Watts.
Projecting herself or whatever.
Congratulations.
We stopped Tyrion too. And we'll stop Cinder and anyone else you try to send here.
Dear girl, their goal was never victory.
Oh yeah.
It was merely to set the stage.
For
So this
what?
was all part of the plan.
For me,
Okay, so she is bringing her monkeys here then. That
Time isn't on your side, James. It's always been on mine.
Yeah, you're
The
immortal.
people of Atlas have suffered enough.
The question is
Surrender
how
the
close...
staff and the lamp to
There's
me.
2 episodes left. They'll
And
probably
they
show up before the
needn't
episode's over.
suffer any further.
That's not going to happen.
What is she even trying to offer him right now?
I don't know.
Simply accept the futility of your situation. And this can all be over.
Sounds like some bullshit.
We've
especially
seen what
considering
you're
the fact
capable
that
of.
None of her minions know her true goals.
The lamp showed us.
Yeah.
It showed us everything.
It showed you a lot, but
Yeah.
not everything.
We've seen that you can't be killed.
It sounds like to me that all that
But
she's
we've also seen you
offering
fail.
Ironwood is like, I won't kill everybody.
We don't
if you
have to
hand me the
kill you
relic.
to stop you.
Yeah.
And then I'll kill y'all.
And we
Because
will
that's what they're able
stop
to
you.
do.
Yeah,
She's just trying to manipulate him to get what she wants. She doesn't care.
correct. That's what it seems
Your
like, at least.
mother said those words
Yay!
But that was obvious.
Hey, man. Thank
yeah,
God
better
they're
late than never.
finally getting into some summer
was wrong,
roast.
Yeah, it's only the end of the 7th goddamn season.
Yeah, but this is pretty brutal. Can we honestly rewind? Can we just rewind? Yeah, let's just... I just want to hear what Salem said her mother said. Like, I want to know exactly what Ruby told her.
No.
That's good, I think. Because that's like about... She's about to go over to her.
It showed us everything.
Okay, here.
We've seen that you can't be killed.
Seen that you can't be killed.
But we've also seen you fail.
Also seen you
Which
fail.
means that she could...
We
in
don't
theory,
have to
be
kill you
defeated.
to stop you.
Yeah.
And we will stop you.
Okay, we don't have to kill you to stop you, and we will stop you.
And that's what Summer said.
That's
Your
probably
mother
what Summer
Which
said.
that's interesting,
said
'cause,
those
so
words to
that
me.
definitely implies that Summer's mission did have to do with
My
Salem, which is weird because just a couple
mother?
episodes ago, Crow said that it didn't have to do with her.
She was wrong too.
We'll see, man.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he said that so much as he just said that he didn't know and Ospen didn't know.
Yeah.
So maybe this was...
He said
Yeah.
He said it wasn't an Oz secret.
Right. And so maybe it was Summer acting on her own accord for some reason.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine what or why. Well, that's rough.
Yeah.
She did successfully just break her.
That's Salem? That's
Yep.
who we're up against?
And she's
Yep.
apparently on her way.
Yep.
We'd be
No,
alerted
no.
if any forces had approached the kingdom. We have long-range
grim,
proximity
though.
alarms all along the coast, and
They're
Yeah.
offline with all of the chaos we didn't notice.
Watts must have shut
Dun,
them down.
dun, dun.
Or they've already been destroyed.
Yeah, so Watts shut them all down.
Yeah.
Watts made it.
If they've
yep.
already been destroyed, that means they're fucking close.
They set the stage perfectly. There's absolute chaos between Atlas and Mantle. Most of their defenses have been penetrated, whether or not they knew it or not. But Cinder and Neo
She
were
said in her
placing
speech that Amity Tower
themselves
was ready
in
to launch.
position.
That was
like,
a lie, though.
Was that true?
Nope.
no,
dun, dun, dun.
you just said that to lure out Watts.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course.
General Ironwood?
I've sent your sister to claim the power of the Winter Maiden.
To claim the power.
What?
That's a little brutal.
When I realized we'd been compromised, I knew we couldn't wait any longer.
Yeah.
The
It's
staff and the
brutal, but
lamp
it's the
have
right
to be
decision.
locked away.
Oof.
I thought
But that means that
You
Cindy's
said we
gonna
could
follow
keep it.
Winter,
Well,
and they're gonna have a fight.
that was before you lied to me about the lamp.
Yep.
Before you lied to us about Robin. Before Salem was right on our doorstep. Before
Yeah.
Mantle was nearly
Your lies
destroyed.
kicked in the
And
ass.
myself and my army were left exhausted.
Yeah, they fucked up.
Yeah.
Didn't see
The
that coming.
timeline has changed.
We
so
saw
we
that
must
shit
change
coming. In
accordingly.
case that wasn't clear.
What are our orders?
He's playing chess.
We are
He
going to
gets
take our
it.
plan for Amity Tower and apply it to the city of Atlas.
Oh, what?
what?
It was Oz's plan in
What?
a former life, but he didn't take it far enough. If we harness
Send
the power
Atlas
of
to
the staff
space.
and raise ourselves high into the atmosphere,
Higher than the Grim
the
can
city's
go.
artificial climate will keep citizens and food supplies unharmed. always out of reach of whatever Salem may try to send our way.
But what about the rest of the planet?
But we're nowhere near finished evacuating everyone. You'd be leaving Mantle to die.
Yeah, and the rest of the world.
I would.
But that's better than complete extinction.
Ugh.
As shitty as it is.
We can't allow Salem to capture the relics.
It's true.
This is our best chance at getting the staff, the lamp, and the maiden as far away from her as possible.
But we have an opportunity to reunite the world. If we launch the tower, we can all work together again. We can even call for help.
But it also
if we can hold out long enough.
Sometimes
it's too
doing
fucking
the right
late.
thing means making tough decisions.
You're right. And I think the right thing to do would be to stand our ground. Me too.
You can do
Me
both.
too. Me too.
We ran ourselves ragged, trying to save Mantle tonight.
And technically,
We try that again against an even larger force.
But you're huntsmen and huntresses. You can't just back down from a fight.
You can't focus on one single fight while trying to win a war.
What's the council going to say?
That's
Nothing.
also true.
It
Once I
is.
declare
Yeah, they're
martial
playing
law.
chess.
Oh, what about Robin?
Who exactly are you loyal to?
We're loyal to the people counting on us to save them.
We are saving who we can.
Oof.
It's hard.
You're
'cause,
standing
like,
in our way.
This situation is all sorts of shades of fucking gray.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think anyone's necessarily wrong
Yeah.
in this.
John, we've got a serious problem.
They're here.
What is it? Come on. Tell us what the problem is.
Iron was
Anna.
declaring martial law and abandoning Mantle. Salem is coming and he's going to use the staff to move Atlas. If we don't stop him, Mantle's going to be
Yeah.
Yep. Good call, Ruby.
The simple truth is now they all know, and they can all make their own decisions with the knowledge they have.
Yep.
I'm sorry it's come to this. But until Atlas and the relics are safe, you are all under arrest.
We won't just let you take us.
Okay.
Oh.
I know.
Big fucking move.
That's accurate. And unfortunately, we're probably fading out here.
Ruby, are
No,
you there?
you know what they're going to do first? They're going to tease us with some Winter Maiden shit.
Yeah.
Just you know, right before. Oscar.
Where are you?
So.
And that's gonna be the end.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to tease Winter Maiden, but no,
Nah,
Neo
save
has
that shit.
kidnapped Oscar,
Yeah.
which I don't know if they know that he's Oz, but considering that Neo had Schnee Manor infiltrated and was in the same episode that they were blatantly stating it in that open room, it is very possible that they now have Oz. So that's just great.
Yeah.
Man, and that there's so much gray, as you said, like moral ambiguity in this episode, like from having to kill the Winter Maiden to claim her powers before they can be claimed by the forces of evil, to thank you for addressing that, to whether or not it's the right thing to sacrifice the people you can't save to save a small few, like, and then just so much moral ambiguity
Exactly.
in this
'cause
episode.
It's the type of thing where, like, the fact that, like, Team RWBY is like, it is our duty to fight Salem and the Grimm, and they do everything we can to stop her and to save as many people as possible. But Ironwood's mindset of, she can't be stopped, our best bet is to save just Atlas, also makes sense. And it is true that if she gets all the relics, that's GG for everyone.
Everybody. And so, yeah.
And the simple truth is being like, what? The 5,000 people that are in Atlas or whatever living that's better than complete global extinction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then also, like, I was trying to touch on it in the episode, but there was so much going on that you kind of, you called me, and that's good, but when you're in a military unit, you do follow orders whether you like them or not, and that is horrible, but it's also in part so it can succeed. because you get compromised if every individual member of a squad knows every detail of a mission. Like that is military tactics. I'm not trying to justify it or say what's right and wrong. I'm just saying that is militaristic logic being implemented. Whether you like it or not, that's what we're seeing.
It's crazy. Like, with only 2 episodes left, and the fact that, like, sometimes things are super fast-paced. Because, like, for example, both of the villain fights in this episode were way shorter than I thought they'd be. So, but, like, right now, because, like, now it feels like that episode 12 is going to be something like Cinder fighting Winter, and Team RWBY fighting the Aesops, and Team Juniper trying to find Oscar. And that episode would probably end with Salem showing up. And then
the finale will
be
probably
her
be
basketball dunking Atlas into Mantle's hole. Probably.
That's what it's looking like now.
That's what it's really looking like, and that's gonna fucking suck. And even if somehow they're able to rally the troops enough to, like, wipe out the army of Grimm that Salem has and have her retreat and prevent the fall, it'll still be really fucking bad, even if that, which at this point is what feels like the best case scenario, happens. However, I also feel like that even though when we saw Salem rallying her army, it was like, we have her, and she's slapping wings on bearing gulls because, you know, Wicked Witch of the West and her flying monkeys. Even though that's what we saw, I have
that's not the extent of what she'll bring.
Right, like way more than that is going to be there when she shows up.
I think that's definitely going to be the case. And then just especially considering how often they're throwing new Grimm out at us, that's something that the show does love to do.
Exactly. And just like the general concept, I even think there's a good chance, because, like, usually when they have new Grimm, it's the type of thing where, like, it's new for us, the viewer, but it's not new for, like, the characters within the canon. But I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up with a Grimm that's in the category of, like, even the characters in the canon don't know what the fuck that thing is.
Yeah.
Because she just fucking made it.
Yeah.
Last week.
That is definitely possible. But then again, at the same time, if you recall, we were talking about this with the elephants versus the mammoths. And you remember how Oobleck said that the elephants were, like, the strongest and most powerful Grimm, but we've seen them, like, surpassed so many times.
He said that they were the strongest and most powerful Grimm in the Beacon/Vale area.
Okay, so that's all that was then.
And he even specified that they were unusual because they're docile by nature and they only fuck with you if you get close.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is definitely...
I guess it's just been a long time since I've seen kind of more of the established part of the show, so that makes sense why it's kind of fuzzy.
Another reason why it's a little fuzzy is because they do retcon things over time. Because, for example, when the show started, Aura was a passive force field that was always up. But around Volume 4, they changed it and made it so that it was an active barrier that's only up if you consciously or subconsciously are like, block the hit.
Right.
And because of that, the concept of, like, there being a little bit of inconsistency with the Grimm throughout the course of the entire series
is also kind of true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so no, I think that you outlined the next 2 episodes pretty phenomenally. It's going to be, like, next episode we're going to see Team RWBY fight the Aesops, which that's going to be an interesting fight for sure.
Yeah.
Winter and Salem, which hopefully... Sorry, yeah, thank you for correcting me. I do that too much with those 2 names specifically.
I understand why.
But Winter and Cinder, and hopefully she'll have the Winter Maiden's powers. That way we can actually get that fight right.
Yeah,
and
because otherwise it'll be like...
Also, otherwise it'll guarantee Atlas getting basketball dunked into Mantle, like you said. Like, if they don't get Winter as the Winter Maiden or as an ally... the Winter Maiden power set as an asset, there's no way Atlas will survive. And even now it's looking very grim.
And I feel that that's also kind of necessary for the story, because the simple truth is, like, Cinder has been an asshole maiden for 4 volumes, and Raven doesn't really give a fuck and is off the board.
Correct.
So to actually commit to
an asset maiden, like a good maiden.
A good maiden, like it is time.
Yeah.
And also that way it could be the type of thing where like then that would, when it comes to maidens, that would balance the field and make it so that what happens with the vacuole maiden would be extra important.
Correct, because the board is neutralized and that swings it one direction or the other.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
But it's also hard because like right now it feels like that when it comes to the entirety of RWBY as a whole, our heroes are fighting a losing battle, and that no matter what they do, it's inevitable that they'll just lose. Mm-hmm. But I also think that someday when the series does end, they won't lose. So I'm definitely curious, like, whenever the day comes where the tide turns and stays turned, both when and how will that happen?
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, it's weird, like, ever since Salem was introduced, the best, I guess, theory or thought or idea that I've been able to think of, and I know I'm not the only person that's thought of this, is that it could be something where, like, maybe Salem is darker than she should be because of the Grimm, and because the Grimm was added into her after the gods gave her the immortality, maybe if, like, 2 or 3 or 50 silver-eyed warriors blasted her, it would remove the Grimm portion, but not kill her, and that's why she was hunting Maria in the past, and et cetera, because she knows that losing her Grimm self is possible.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the only clean way to defeat her without killing her that I can think of.
I think that the solution will be silver-eyed, for sure. Like, I think that is a very safe statement.
No, there actually is one other solution, but it's significantly less clean, and that is that the gods said that when the relics are brought together, they would judge humanity. And if they were divided, snap. But if they were unified, then they'd make everything peachy keen and they'd live amongst humanity again. Meaning that if they're able to get things into a situation where Salem and the Grimm is the only conflict on Remnant, and then they reunite the relics, then the gods could be their salvation.
Yeah, like technically if Atlas does get launched into the sky, this is just hypothetical, and everybody else dies, but then the relics are collected and gathered in Atlas where all of humanity is working together to survive.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, yeah, you're right. That is kind of a cop-out ending that I hadn't thought of. That is totally possible. So something I want to talk about, because we've mentioned the board as it stands. We've mentioned Neo has Oscar, Cinder's following Winter, Aesop's RWBY, blah, 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 blah. One thing we haven't mentioned is Crow, Clover, Robin, and Tyrion in an aircraft. Right. And there was some tense looks being given at Clover when RWBY told them that Ironwood was going to be declaring martial law. So that is the one element of the plot I think we've kind of missed so far.
Like how's that going to go? Like is Clover going to arrest his new buddy Crow?
And Robin, for that matter?
Is he going to try to arrest Crow and Robin? Or is he going to be like, sorry, I didn't hear that message? Or who knows? It could even be something where
And of course, the worst part of all this is that they have Tyrion with them. Yeah. They have to be decisive and quickly. And in addition to that, they probably have to get him to the prison on Atlas. So... So Robin, who's probably going to want to immediately be in Mantle, not in Atlas, is going to be she's going to be livid. Yeah. Right? Crow is going to be mad just because, honestly, he doesn't handle the concept of deception well. That's even true. He even overreacted on he just... I'm not trying to hate, but he's obviously not going to handle that well based off of character. Yeah. Tyrion's going to sit there and flame the whole thing because that's...
But it's hard to say, though, because, like, for example, sometimes shit that makes sense to be seen isn't seen. For example, it's totally possible that those characters won't be in episode 12, and then in episode 13 we'll see Crow, Clover, and Hill fighting Grimm, and Tyrion will just be not there. It'll be like, they took him to jail off screen, and then they went to fight Grimm. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, that could happen, but I think that there is definitely something developed there.
They showed them looking at her like that for a reason.
And I also really hope that it turns in, because if you'll recall when we first met Robin, Clover seemed to be following his orders, but at the end of the confrontation did show vocal support of her.
This is true.
And so maybe we're underestimating Clover's potential to unite our heroes.
Yeah.
Because...
That's a really good point.
Right, because if Clover's like, let's drop off Tyrion and then let's the three of us get to Mantle. That shifts everything.
Yeah.
That shifts the entire board, because now Robin's concerns are addressed and people are working together again, more or less. That gets rid of this infighting that we have seen now be in this episode. Like, they've developed this kind of like infighting between the team, and it's kind of, I guess it falls on Clover, I feel, to end it.
Well, hopefully his good luck comes through when it matters most.
True. Agreed. Man, I don't really have much else in lieu of commentary. I think we've said quite a bit, and that was a great episode. I mean, it's got us hyped for next week.
And it sucks, because like when it comes to these finales, it's always the type of thing where like we're excited, but we're also nervous, and it's hard to know what to say because a large portion of it is
we're concerned.
And in addition to that, it's also hard because let me put it this way. When it comes to predicting RWBY, there have been lots of times where I've been very close, but the only time that I was right and was a prophet was literally like Penny, Torchwick, and Pyrrha all dying in Volume 3, where like literally I was watching those episodes blind, and like Volume 3, Episode 9, I had a Penny shirt on. Volume 3, Episode 11 was a Torchwick shirt. And Volume 3, Episode 12 was a Pyrrha shirt. But like besides that, I've always been close but not right. And just that makes me think that everything we predicted
probably won't happen, because they do like to subvert expectations,
exactly.
If you will.
Even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah, but I think we've got the board pretty well established. And I don't think we're necessarily predicting what's going to happen. Like, we've made a couple, but for the most part, we're just developing the board. Where are all the pieces? And
That's
how
true.
how do we anticipate they'll react with one another?
Yeah. Cool.
And
So I guess, I think that's all we got. So I hope you guys enjoyed both the episode and the reaction. And until next time, Megaton Menace signing out, and peace.
Farewell.